Robert?
There are two people here who were wacky before I was. Bob Watson and Tom Perry. Tom pressed the Giacomo. Giacomo! Come here. Bill Walters.
Come on, Daddy Black.
10 minutes on the buffet. Introduce all these people. Bill Walters, president of WAKY. There's Bob Watson, news guy. Tom Perry, news guy. Tom is with the WAKY down in the sales department. And Tom pressed the Giacomo.
You mean I get to take over from here? We want to make sure that. Thank you, Bill. Where do we start with it? Johnny Randolph, ladies and gentlemen. During dinner, you probably thought that you were on a cruise ship because everybody would stop and take a picture of your entire table, and you'll be able to buy those for $8.95 on your way out. Or if you'd like to have the memory album for $24.95, you can have your choice. We also have somebody, I think, who has a video camera that will be rolling. So at your leisure, and even if you don't want to, you need to come up here and tell everybody who you are and what you did and why you did it and how much fun you had. And the only thing you can't do is tell stories on anybody who is here. Now, anybody who's not here, you can do that. And I'll come back and tell you my stories because I came towards the tail end of the WAKY memories. I'd like for Dude Walker to start things off. John W. Dude Walker, if you'll stand up here. In 1968, this is a true story, in 1968 I was a student at Seneca High School, and I stood in front of the WAKY Showcase Studios, and I looked in the window and I waved, and this guy waved back, and I said, yeah. And he said, 1 minute. He did a break, took his headphones off, came down, opened the door. That was my first introduction to radio. In 1978, I was doing a Saturday morning radio program at WAKY in the Showcase Studios. And this guy and his son were looking in the window. So I ran in and I opened the door and we hugged and we talked, and he was coming back from Chicago on his way to Memphis. Well, in 1979 I moved to Memphis and worked 31 years for WMC FM 100. We take the same pattern all the way from Memphis back to Louisville. There's a place on exit number 92 if you ever go that way. I filled up my gas tank on Thursday afternoon. I went in to use the men's room because it was the last break I was going to take. I come out of the bathroom, there's Dude Walker. It was his third stop, I should clarify. But I'll let you tell him who you are and what you did, and you take it from here.
Well, first of all, I have a huge bladder, so I don't stop 3 times. On the other hand, every 30 miles, you know. Well, yeah. Working at WAKY was the greatest time of my life. I can't tell you what it's like to work with Bill Bailey, you know, Gary Burbank, Mason Dixon, Mike Summers here, the newsman, Bob Watson. They were all great to work with. And I feel very blessed to have had the opportunity. And I remember with Tom, actually I was going to Chicago because I worked for the NBC station up there. And we stopped, and on the way out, my son, he was pretty young at the time, and on the way out, he dedicated a song to me, and my son was really impressed by that. He thought I was famous, you know. Well, he's 45 now, and he knows I'm not. But God bless all of you. I'm sorry this is the last reunion. Oh, let me tell you one thing. You know, working for Johnny Randolph, what a wonderful opportunity that is. my wife had a miscarriage, and Johnny came running into the station. He said, "What's wrong?" He could just tell something was wrong by my voice, you know. And I told him, I said, "Cynthia, you know," and he said, "Get to the hospital, I'll do your show." So, God bless Johnny Randolph.
Tom Perry, and he shortened it to Tom Perry for radio.
This is a special occasion for me to see some of the old people I haven't seen in years and years. But it's a special occasion for a second reason, because this is my wife and I's 21st anniversary. Well, it's difficult to follow anybody as tall as Tom Perry.
Yeah, Joe London's here.
Tom got me a job at WAKY when I was at the University of Kentucky, and I was looking for a weekend job, and so I went down and well, let me back up a little bit. A friend of his, Claude Fulkerson, right there, talked to Tom about if they need. I guess you asked him if they needed any weekend help or whatever.
Well, actually, I was wanting to be a DJ at WAKY, and
Stick that microphone up.
Tom said
You're gonna talk. Come
a
on.
news job was available. Oh,
Thank you. If you're gonna join the party, tell everybody who you are.
Okay, I'm Claude Wayne on the air. And Tom, they was known as Bob Watson back then, it's Tom Watson. Well, we were working in a little station in Eminence, Kentucky, back in 1959, long time ago, folks. And anyway, I was supposed to get a job out on WAKY, and the manager, Jack, what was his name, Tom?
Jack Lee.
Jack Lee. He promised me a job on WAKY. And because I did a lot of different voices and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I never did get that job. And Tom called me one day and he said, "We've got a news opening, but I said, if you get hired as a newsman, they don't want you to switch over to being an air personality." So he said, "Do you know anybody else who might want the job if you don't want it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm working with a guy named Tom Watson here." And I had to just about beat him to get him to go down and talk to Tom Perry about this. And when he finally did, and he got the job, and you were there, what, 25 years or more, were you?
No, not nearly that long. 12 years, I think. One year I went to St. Louis with the Lady Corporation, worked at WIL, and the station manager was Tom Perryman. And I felt at ease working there, working for him in Louisville, you know, and all the other people that worked. We had like 25 news people, and they all knew that I knew the station manager and was buddies of his, you know, so everything worked out real fine. But anyway, I left WAKY and went to the Associated Press 35 years ago. So I worked 35 years in the Courier-Journal building for the Associated Press, and I never went anywhere. I went to Washington 3 or 4 times, and they said I could try out for the network. Well, I didn't want to try out for anything, but I enjoyed the free trips to Washington.
Before you go, all the awards that you won with WAKY and the Associated Press, what story do you remember from radio that strikes you best?
Well, the one that we got a National Headliner Award for was the DuPont explosion out in the West End. And, oh God, I don't know. I know Bill Kennedy was there in the news department, and I remember the station manager was Joel Throat, because he got on the two-way and said, "Get it off the society page, this is an exciting story." I said, "All right, we'll bear down on that a little bit." But I can tell you right now, I know we have a plaque. Those national awards were good because you get like a trip every year to go get one. Free trip.
Bob Watson, ladies and gentlemen.